Wolfy is one of my characters. He's my VTuber avatar, the wolf boy in my profile picture, and he ended up being one of my favorite creations. I originally created Wolfy as a joke, though. He originally appeared in a comic I called Horny Wolf, which had no story planned, just stupid ideas I thought of on the spot. His comic is called Horny Wolf because I was horny when I made it, and I was thinking of an H game when I made it. It was made to improve how quickly I draw and to get used to comic making along with figuring out what format works best for making comics and stuff. When I designed Wolfy, I wasn't thinking too much about it. His hair was originally just messy spikes since he was supposed to be a wild animal. I wanted him to look ugly, but not ugly enough where people feel disgusted by him. So I thought about something I believe many people find attractive. Demi-humans, animal people, you get the point. He was going to be a wolf boy with wolf ears and a wolf tail, but I wanted him to look ugly somehow. I thought about animals, furries, animal people, and regular humans, thinking about what makes each of them appealing, and what would be disgusting if it were on a person. Eventually, I thought of putting a wolf nose on Wolfy, since I think most people would find it pretty disgusting for a person to have a wolf nose instead of a regular one. As time went on, I refined his design to be more consistent and easier to draw, which in turn I feel made him more recognizable as Wolfy. His hair is still messy spikes, but it looks better. Wolfy is basically what helped me define a style that is quick and easy to make for fast comic making. Even though I rarely make comics. Yeah. Though, in order to actually make comics, I needed at minimum a plot to draw, regardless of whether it was stupid or not. Although I knew I could technically draw anything for the sake of practice, I was picky about plots and wanted a good story to tell. So in order to come up with a story to draw for Wolfy, I thought about how most people love dog girls and cat girls and stuff. People like them because of their fluffy tails and ears, and most people don't seem to hate them because they're literally just regular people with animal parts, or pets that are human, and allows them to have fun with them. So, to make people hate one of the most lovable, greatest things on this planet, I thought that I'd make them more animal-like. Like barking, annoyingly, accidentally trashing things at the swing of their tail, smelling awful, overreacting to things we usually don't notice or ignore, and so on. I thought about how that sounded too familiar, and then I realized just how accurate that is to real life. Like, if animal people existed in this world and they stole often, they often smell bad, they howled once every month, I think a lot of people would try and kill them. Even better, it's precisely because they're part animals that make them more annoying and easier to dehumanize, coming to how people in the real world dehumanize. I don't think it'd be hard for people to say demi-humans are automatically lesser because they're more prone to primal instincts than normal people, because they're literally part animals. Such a statement has been argued in courts in the past regarding blacks and Asians to revoke as many rights as possible from them, so honestly, I have no doubts that it happened to demi-humans in this world if they suddenly appeared one day. And given modern times and its events, I have no doubts that our current discriminated races would throw the demi-humans under the bus, as they aren't part animal, but a pure, normal human, despite the fact that it not only divides people more and gives the oppressing groups more power, in order to feel better about themselves, acting like bullies who bully others for the things they've been bullied for in the past. I also feel like if people knew their pets were as smart as them, they'd put them to work because they're not going to let them slouch in their homes. At the same time, I feel that it would result in a you owe me everything kind of relationship, as owners would feel like they're owed for spoiling them with a good life. After all, I've never seen a person in my entire life who was glad to give a free home, free food and water, and free love and care to another person. Just pets, animals. I'm also pretty sure prey animals would be treated rather poorly, since most of them would be known for being fearful, edgy, and anxious, since prey instinct and all that. Due to people not being able to understand why they would lash out if you made them too uncomfortable, they would be related to worse contexts and concepts than in this world, with different mythologies and folklore and tales. I think it'd be safe to say that despite the huge variety of animals' behaviors and instincts, still likely be grouped as animal people who behave relatively the same. I'm also pretty sure that most demi-humans would be in poverty since they'd be fired for smelling bad, odd behaviors that get in the way of the team, and so on. The ones that are more human than animal wouldn't be in poverty, would likely be the ideal minority of demi-humans, who would, in the eyes of society, be seen as the perfect pet. The ideal minority would be loyal to their seniors, tough and gruff and or shy or submissive, whose purpose is to be cuddled and protected. Although that doesn't sound bad, like in real life, those who don't fit the mold are often seen as disposable, of no human worth, and so on, simply because they aren't a pet. Likely, pet would be a great term to demean any demi-human gets along with humans too much, and rabid or wild for those who don't get along with humans. All of that I quickly thought of without an issue, since it really wasn't that hard to create such a group if anyone just takes a good look at the world for what it is. People will discriminate, ruin, and slaughter others over any difference they can find to those outside of their groups. That's the undeniable abstract of every living being, and I'm not saying that to be bleak and hopeless, because animals have been seen to outright abandon or kill their own for being seen as weak, among other reasons, in nature. Rather, I feel that humans are rather full of themselves. Assuming if intelligent life exists, which isn't in the form of a human nor as we know it, due to being unable to comprehend it, we may see it as stupid and unintelligent. But assume such intelligence were in the form of humans, but not in the form which we can understand, or assume such intelligence were comprehensible, but not in the form of a human. Would we really be welcoming of it if such a thing appeared in this world right now, treating it as a friend side by side? Or would it simply play out like how we've treated humans with different skin color and culture throughout history, with enslavement and genocide? Personally, I think people would try to be friends, but assumptions, expectations, misconceptions, and malice would soon take hold and history would repeat. So yeah, accidentally made a commentary on society, psychology, and morality because I literally drew a wolf boy with a wolf nose, which I'll probably never truly put on paper because life, procrastination, and general lack of writing skills prevent me from doing so. I've also had started making a visual novel with Wolfy using Rempe, and other plots I wanted to get into stories and comics in order to get all those ideas on paper. Unfortunately, I never really got around to continue or finishing most of those projects. I've been trying to find a job in order to start the process of moving out from my family, but unfortunately, it's up to the employer whether you get to earn money or not. So I've mostly been stagnant. I have a fan box for monthly donations for art and other stuff in general, and I also made a coffee in case you want to donate a few bucks to me. Both are in the description. Some quick tidbits before the video ends. I made Wolfy's eyes green because of the phrase green with envy, since he's envious of what others have that he doesn't. Wolfy is also essentially a lone wolf, but remove the parts that make a lone wolf cool or useful. And he shares a color scheme with that furry that ate his own shit by pure fucking accident, to my great annoying pain.